Good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it is where you are. I'm Alexis Williams, co-founder of Business Skills for Health Professionals and the host of the Beyond Clinical podcast. In this podcast, we'll be interviewing health professionals from diverse backgrounds who've moved into unconventional roles beyond clinical. And we'll be hearing their stories and tips in order to motivate you and inspire you to pursue unique career paths. This is episode number 7, and I'd like to introduce my guest, Huda Rashid. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So, Huda and I have known each other quite a long time. I'm going to guess it's been maybe 10 years, maybe more. Um, we worked together at Loblaw, which is a large Canadian grocery retail chain. I'll tell you a little bit about Huda. She's a registered dietitian working as a product manager within Loblaw Brands. She started as an in-store dietitian with Loblaw and moved into the assistant product manager role, then to the product manager role, where she now is responsible for managing the private label portfolio for baby and sports nutrition items under the PC Organic and PC Brands platforms by ensuring delivery of a long-term product plan and strategic vision, bringing exciting new foods into the market. So excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be on this podcast today.
Awesome. So let's start off with a fun question, if you don't mind. What's something that you're excited about in the coming next few months or the coming season?
Okay, great. So I actually did want to share that since I'll be talking a bit about my role, we did recently launch some very exciting new items within the baby category. So we just launched some new food items for infants and toddlers, and they are PC Organics frozen purees for infants and frozen entrees for toddlers. So the really great thing about these products is they are of homemade quality. So just like as if you would prepare them from at home from scratch, 100% organic, and they're convenient options for parents and caregivers, and they're available at select stores within Canada under our Loblaw corporation, which would include Real Canadian Superstores, Maxi stores in Quebec, Loblaws, Theirs, Value Mart, Your Independent Grocers, and Atlantic Superstores out east. So I encourage you all to keep an eye out in your freezers at these stores for these exciting new items. And I'm really looking forward to hearing feedback from parents and caregivers about these new convenient frozen organic offerings.
That's so super exciting. I'm glad we were able to share about that new innovation. I was just saying to you before we started the recording that I would have loved to have those available when my kids were little. Not everyone is cut out for making baby food from scratch, and they would have been super handy. And it's really cool to see the work that you get to do as a dietitian in other areas in something like this. So congrats.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about your career path and your journey kind of going from a healthcare professional into like a business and industry setting like you're in now?
Yeah, definitely. So I started my career with Loblaw in 2013, working as an in-store dietitian in the stores for 5 years. And most of this role involved providing advice to customers about cooking and nutrition and showing people new ways to use different foods. During my time in this role, I really love looking around the stores for Loblaw's new, what we call private label or control brand items under these specific brands of PC, No Name, PC Blue Menu, and because these items were always so innovative and really of amazing quality as well. Over time, I did realize I wanted to learn more about that product development process of how these products were brought into stores, all the way from inception to hitting the shelves. And so I joined the Loblaw Brands team in 2018 as an assistant product manager. And in this role, I was responsible for managing the timeline for developing products, learning important project management skills along the way. I focused in on the skills I learned from my dietitian role, specifically interacting and coaching clients and gaining knowledge of the types of foods that clients were looking for in order to meet their nutrition and wellness goals. And then I eventually transitioned from the role of an assistant product manager to the product manager role, specifically for the baby and sports nutrition categories, where I'm now responsible for working with a really dynamic team to develop and execute the strategy of new product development for those private label items under, as already mentioned, the PC Organics brand for food items for infants and toddlers, and then the PC brand for sports nutrition items. So really kind of combining my passion for project management and wellness and into that kind of space as a product manager role.
I love hearing how you kind of got your start in the store and just the engagement that you had with customers, how that kind of led you to kind of think about career paths beyond that role and kind of get curious about how products developed. I also really think it's interesting about developing project management skills because I actually feel like that's one of the areas that health professionals actually have a lot of affinity for, natural affinity for, especially when you think about things like developing care plans for clients in like a one-on-one setting, and then like following through with the rest of the team, with an allied health team in a clinical setting. Like there's a lot of similarities. I don't know if you found that like that was a really transferable skill to product management in a different setting.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you, Alexis. I think there's kind of a step of order of a process there, and it's very, very similar to how you would kind of work with a client from, the beginning. And maybe there's no end in sight, but you would know exactly kind of the steps that you would need to go through with that client to ensure that you're, helping them kind of reach that goal of their nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely. What things did you do that kind of helped you on your career journey?
Yeah, and it's a perfect tie-in from what we were just speaking about when it comes to project management. So one of the things that I did is I did explore courses that were available to me through our internal learning and development team at Loblaw. So for example, I took an in-person all-day project management concepts course, which was which was great in the sense that it could really be applied anywhere in what I was kind of hoping to learn out of that course. I really enjoyed that project management skill building, and I started to really see it more in a lot of job descriptions as well. So I wanted to not only understand the concepts, but begin to start implementing what I learned from that course into my job to help kind of build up those project management skills. The other thing was when you work for a larger company such as Loblaw or any large company that one may be working with, it can sometimes be challenging to navigate and understand kind of the available roles which align with your skill set and interest, yet still still find a role that provides the opportunity to grow and develop as well. So with the support of my dietitian management team, I did some networking with other team members to learn about roles in merchandising, and also reached out to my dietitian colleagues within the organization who had already transitioned from their in-store role to other roles within the company to kind of explore and discuss possible roles and opportunities with the product development side of the business as well. So a lot of
Yeah,
networking.
lots of networking. Yeah, I think that's super valuable. And especially, like you said, when you're in a larger company, it's a great place to really grow and network with people in different areas. You kind of have that built in, I guess, you don't have to like cold call people the same way as you do maybe externally networking. So I think that's great that you took advantage of that and really kind of got to know a wide variety of people in different roles. I'm sure that really helped you with your career transition. Are there any key skills that you found you learned in that time?
Yeah, I would say like maintaining your connections. So make sure that as you do meet people, whether it's internally or externally, do reach out every so often and see what they're up to. Make sure you're kind of keeping those connections and open. If you're going to conferences or seminars and things like that, make sure that you're spending time with not only the people in your circle, but getting to know
Mm-hmm.
others as well, because you never know where kind of that next opportunity may open up as well.
Yeah, I've found that really valuable as well. And I think as I've like gone from working in a large company to working for myself, it's been really valuable to maintain a lot of those connections and just reach out to people, have virtual coffee chats, or sometimes meet in person periodically to kind of stay connected to people. And they move on to different companies, and that can be helpful in finding connections at new companies that you may want to explore. So yeah, definitely valuable there. What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced making this transition?
Yeah, that's a great one. So for me, it was actually recognizing the areas where I still needed to learn to be successful within my current role today as a product manager. So specifically for my role, needing to build up my financial acumen skills. This was a big one for me because understanding sales and financials is a part of my current role so that I can understand product performance and also understand what will help drive decisions in deciding on the next new products to launch in stores. But financial analysis, to be honest, was not a strength of mine. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
something that we'd focused on in my previous dietitian role or even in my undergraduate training as a dietitian. So to become more familiar with understanding financials, I worked really closely with a mentor who was strong in sales analysis, and she was able to guide me to help me gain a better understanding of how to tell a story using sales data and what that all
Mm.
means as well. I also asked my managers to assign me to projects where I would be challenged to do more sales analysis to continue to build up that skill. So what I can share is, had I really shied away and ignored something that I was unfamiliar with, I believe it would have been really difficult for me to gain a total understanding of those financial skills and analysis training that I needed to transition into my current role as a product manager.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. I think it's a very common area that we feel a little uncomfortable with. I certainly felt similarly when I started managing a large budget and would get sent like spreadsheets that I didn't really understand half the terms on. And similar to you, I found somebody in the finance department that I became buddies with, and it was really valuable from a mentorship standpoint. And one thing I always say when I'm talking to this about with clients and people is you can reciprocate. Like if you have subject matter expertise in an area like nutrition and health, and they have expertise in finance, those can make for some really good reciprocal conversations. And you can kind of be a resource to them as well and give back while you're learning an area that you don't really know about. So yeah, it's very valuable. If you could give advice to someone who's considering transitioning from healthcare to business, what would it be?
Yeah, so my advice would be, as challenging as it can be to take a new path in your career, it is very rewarding to be able to flex your dietitian skills in different business roles, because you're going to provide a unique perspective within non-traditional dietetic roles to really help shape and inform decisions which can be made to better the lives of the Canadian or American population, depending on where you're located. And I'm also very fortunate in my current role to work with a team of very dynamic skilled professionals, some of which include regulatory team members, quality assurance team members, product developers, and they provide valuable input and advice as well to continue to help me learn and grow. I'm also able to do consumer research and use this information to develop strategies which help inform the development of innovative food items for infants and toddlers. And then my other piece of advice would be that if you are looking to make that transition into a business role, take the time to focus on understanding what are your transferable skills, but also spend time recognizing where there's gaps in any required skills for roles that you're seeking. And as mentioned previously, find mentors or look for courses that are available to help you grow and develop those skills that are still needed for the role that you're seeking out. Learning's a never-ending journey, and it really keeps us engaged in broadening our knowledge and branching out into new careers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you can start learning with sort of high level courses in some of those topics. And then as you find areas that you're more interested in, it can be an area that you may want to deep dive, maybe pursue like certificates in a specific area, which I think can be really valuable to growing your career. Absolutely. Do you have any development goals for yourself for the next little while?
Yes, definitely. So, one of my goals is actually to continue to build my influencing and negotiating skills, so that my strategies and ideas for new items are being shared with others, but while still ensuring that other colleagues' opinions and feedback is being considered as well. So, I do work in a kind of a dynamic team with a lot of different team members. So that influence and negotiating is an important part of my day-to-day role. Influence is a daily activity that helps build trust, credibility, and long-term relationships. And an influential leader motivates and inspires others to really come together in support of that common goal or shared vision. And in my case, that shared goal or common vision are the strategies that we're working towards for new products in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we're about to do our book club next week, and we are reading a negotiating book called Say Less, Get More, because I think it is a really valuable skill that maybe doesn't come as naturally to healthcare professionals. And it can be helpful not only when it comes to like getting a job and, negotiating things like your salary and promotions, but also once you're in a workplace, like you said, kind of getting your agenda heard, moving your projects forward, which can be challenging in a big company with a lot of competing priorities. So I think that's a great goal for you. I'm excited. I can't remember if this question was on the list, and if it wasn't, I think it'll be a pretty easy one. But
Sure.
is there anything you do each week that sets you up for success,
Yeah.
kind of personally or professionally, or something that you do on an annual basis?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great one. So As simple as it sounds, for setting me up for the week, I like to set up blocks of time in as focus time in my work calendar, really just to ensure that I can dedicate this time to work on tasks to be completed on my to-do list. So it sounds like an easy one, but I'm sure many of us have got caught up in the day-to-day or the emails that flow through. Well, setting those kind of separate blocks of time aside to
Mm.
work on what you need to do to set yourself up for success for the week is helpful for me. And then on an annual perspective, what I like to do, so professionally, I am a member of the College of Dietitians of Ontario here in Canada. So I try to ensure that at least one of my College of Dietitian of Ontario goals does tie into something that I'm working on within my role as a product manager. So as a simple example, reviewing the latest research or insights on which nutrients are important for infants' healthy growth and development. It's definitely something that I do in my current role that can easily also tie into a College of Dietitians of Ontario role to ensure that I'm kind of maintaining my skills and competencies.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I think, those required goals for maintaining certifications can actually be a good motivator to reflect on, like you said, what skills and knowledge areas from a nutrition standpoint or health standpoint do you need for your current role? Because you probably need more than you realize. So I think that's a really smart goal. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
No, not at this time. I'm just really excited to have this opportunity to share a little bit about my journey and role, and encourage everyone else to kind of look at new opportunities out there in the business world.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I'll do a little bit of an exit before we wrap up. So I hope everyone enjoyed hearing from Huda today and you're feeling inspired about maybe pursuing a career in the product management space. If you want to engage more with the Business Skills for Health Professionals community, I would invite you to join our free Facebook group. I'm going to link it in the show notes below, but it's called Business Skills for Health Professionals community. We also have our Beyond Clinical Career Transition program to support you in making career transitions. And we do have courses included with that on topics like finance and accounting, sales and marketing, leadership, some of those core topics that we did touch on a little bit today. And you can learn more about that by visiting our website, www.bizskillsforhps.com. It is half price till the end of December. So I'll put that in the show notes as well. So thank you very much, Huda, for joining us. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.